Welcome to another session of Kids Can Code. Today we're going to go over layouts. So as you can see, this is my current project. When I loaded it up, it was all messed up. All of my screens were messed up. So in Unity, you can take basically any item and you can slide it around and you can move it. And these little tabs up here, when you click on them, you can drag them wherever you want. You can set it up however you like it. Each item snaps inside another item. See how it snaps in there, and then I put this one up here if I wanted to. It's kind of difficult. You have to try and get it right in the header. Sometimes you'll move something and it'll be too big, and then you'll be like, I can't get it. You have to grab it by the tab, and you have to put it right on the tab of the other line. Now what happens if I want it to look just like this next time I load up, but it crashes or something and it loses my settings? What you do is, while you have this open, you need to go to Layout, and you hit Save Layout, and then you have to type in the name. So I could type in CAS, that's what I usually name mine, and I can hit Save. And then when I move things around again, or things get all messed up and I'm like, I don't know what to do. All I have to do is I can just click on CAS and it'll go right back to the way I had it. Default is the one that starts with, this is how Unity looks when you usually originally load it up. And so usually when I do the tutorials, I try to remember to do this. Sometimes I don't. It's actually good for you to get used to moving your windows around and not get used to seeing them always the same way. Otherwise you get stuck, and when you see another video, you are so used to seeing like your hierarchy in one spot that you don't pay attention. You have a harder time watching the video because the interface doesn't look right. Another reason is because, for example, when you click on something in the world, for example, I'm going to click on this. Usually it will select itself in the project. Let me find something. For example, I can select this, and it's going to select itself over here in the hierarchy, but also usually it will select itself in the project. I'm not sure why it's not doing that. There we go. So like it selected itself here on the project, but if you have this hidden back here and then you select something else, and like I want to look at the UI root, and then I'm going to click on, what's something good to click on? Here we go. My game controller. Well, I really need to see my game controller so that I can edit it. My game controller is a code. Well, because this is back here, it usually won't select it unless you select it multiple times. So it's helpful to move them around so that you can see what you're doing, and it'll select it right there. And this is also helpful so that, like, if you don't want to have to open it, you can view it right here. So that's it for this video. Just get used to moving your windows around. If you want to open more windows, like let's say I accidentally close the scene and I close the game, you can right click on like this tab and you can hit Add Tab, and this will have a selection of items. These are usually like the ones that people like to open a lot. You probably won't have a profiler. Profiler is for pro only. But if you go to Window, you can have a whole bunch of items here that you can open. The scene is the one where you move items around in the world. Game is the one where it renders when you press play. The inspector is this doodad over here. Hierarchy is this one. Animation is for if you select an item with animation on it, you can look at the animation and you can edit the curves and things like that. We'll go over that eventually. Version control is just for like backing up to a server. Let's see if it'll load. Stuck. And this is a pro feature as well, so you probably won't ever see this window because backing up and such is usually for pro only. And a lot of these are from assets that I downloaded, so you're not going to have a lot of these either. The last one that I wanted to show you was sorry about the noise, that was the baby. Last one that I want to show is the animator. The animator is a very important one that we'll go over later. But any of these windows that you open, it'll open it up in a window like this, and you have to grab the little tab and drag it where you want it. A lot of these windows, like this one, doesn't need to be very big, so you can just snap it over there. Scene, animator, game usually need to be fairly big. Now, one last thing that I'm going to go over. I already know I said one last thing, but this is important. When you press play, I don't want to press play because this takes forever to load. It's a really big project. When you press play and it's playing and this gets really big, it's because this little button is pushed. So if you have it selected as maximize on play, it's going to take up the whole screen, kind of like this. And if you don't want it to do that, you can hit pause, and then you can hit this button so it's not maximized, and you unpause it, and it will shrink itself down like this again. So then when you're playing, you can see what it's doing, but you can also select the items in the world then. Where's my player? You can select your item and then you can move it while the game is playing and see what it does. Just remember, anything that you move while the play button is pressed will not save. That is a very, very important thing, and I will probably repeat it almost every video because everybody always forgets. Anything that you move when the play button is pressed, anything that you change, will not save. Except, there are a few exceptions. I can't think of all of them right now, but I know that at least physics objects, when you edit a physics material, they do not get undone. It saves the physics material changes. So that's it for this video, and I will talk to you next time.